So we move on to our next host. And we have our wonderful, the one and only dear Sharon Rose, all the way from USA, joining us. There you go. So, dear Sharon, let me just introduce this wonderful lady to you. As you all know, because you are now aware of who dear Sharon Rose is, but if you are joining us for the first time, then this is a quick little introduction. Sharon Rose is a winner of the Filmmaker of the Year Award from the 20th World Congress on Qigong. She does Tai Chi, Taoism, natural healing. She's the director and producer of the forthcoming documentary called Quantum Qi, the Taoist Art of Nurturing Life. It's an amazing, amazing series. You have to watch it. It's brilliantly made. And Sharon has also lectured, performed, and presented her films in numerous universities, spiritual centers, cultural organizations, and museums. And she was also a consultant to the National Endowment for the Arts. She's the author of The Path of the Priestess, which is a guidebook for awakening the divine feminine. It's an amazing book. You have to read that. I've been reading it. It's brilliant. And she's also currently completing a CD called The Nectar of Bliss, dedicated to the healing power of the divine feminine in cultures throughout the world. Again, because this lady strives for excellence, you have to listen to that music too, because you will enjoy listening to that music. It's fantastic. But then I also have another co-host, and I'd like to now properly introduce our Dr. Wai-Ching Lee, who I call Amalia, but her full name is Dr. Wai-Ching Lee. Now, Dr. Wai-Ching Lee is a medical intuitive healer from a traditional lineage. She is also a US qualified holistic health counselor and an holistic bodywork therapist. As the principal of Earth Heart, a holistic consultancy, she has been collaborating with medical doctors in the field of integrative medicine since 1992. That's a long time. So this lady has a lot of experience in this field. Wai-Ching is also a member of several organizations of integrative medicine and has been on panels and discussions with the medical professions in co-creating new paradigms and protocols for holistic medicine. As you can tell with this wonderful doctor that we had just now, Tess Laurie, of course, Dr. Amalia and Wai-Ching, I should say, has been a real integral part for helping those kinds of organizations flower and blossom. Now, Wai-Ching is also a member, I said, of various panels and discussion groups. She's also, by the way, sits on the Health and Medical Advisory Board of Nature's Frequencies and serves as a consultant to the spa and hospitality industry, as you can tell by her beautiful method of speaking. She provides leadership in many other humanitarian and environmental organizations, as well as her own program of Living Healing Arts Vortex. She does lots, as you can tell. So we're very, very proud to have someone like Amalia, which is Dr. Wai-Ching, and our dear Dr. Sharon. Sharon Rose. This all become doctors today for me. And I am going to be handing over very reluctantly, because I'm loving listening to these wonderful guests share their knowledge, but I'm going to be handing over the hosting to these two gorgeous ladies on our Healing Our Earth. So first of all, global namaste, dear Sharon. Global namaste again, Dr. Wai-Ching.
Global namaste to you, dear honey, our senior host, producer of the amazing dance shows, and so much more. It's always such a delight to be with you.
Oh, you're so wonderful. Well, I love being part of this family, as you know. Just wanted to also say thanks to Neil Kumar. Without him, us, all three ladies here, would have never met. So I just want to say a very big thank you. Not just that, we have Meeta, we have Lata, we have so many other people who are all joining us always, Lakshmi, and so many people. We would have never met without these wonderful Mr. Neil Kumar. So thank you, Neil, for being a founder of Healing Our Earth. And he's taking the direction of the Healing Our Earth into something very special, very big, very, I would say, impactful for the world. So I think that I'm really looking forward to seeing how we blossom together as a family. So dear Sharon, dear Dr. Wai-Ching, it's all yours now. Enjoy the rest of the evening. And whilst I'm here, I would like to say a namaste to the wonderful Jack. Is it Jack Dillinger?
Yes.
Yes, global namaste. I love your hair. I thought before I go, I have to let you know that. I think it looks great. How do you have glossy hair like that? Us ladies, these are the kind of questions we would ask.
Thank you.
Yeah, but all yours, my dears, all yours. Global namaste to everyone, to all of my Healing Our Earth audience members out there.
Global namaste to you all. Thank you, Haniji. You know, this is our 129th show for Healing Our Earth, and we've been growing and growing and bringing this message of love and healing and care for the earth for all this time. I'm delighted today to have my friend Jack Dillinger here. We're going to talk about alternative medical solutions for a healthier tomorrow. Jack is very, very interesting guy because he was running for governor of Colorado. His passion for healthcare, his education is in business government. He's a massage therapist. He does craniosacral therapy, lymphatic drainage, pain neutralization, Qigong, and works with subtle energy. He's been for 25 years, he's been in public and private practice. And so we're delighted to have him. And I know that in his campaign for governor, he was very, very focused upon alternative health. So tell us a little about that.
Well, one of the things that inspired me to run for governor was to kind of redo or re-overhaul healthcare. I really believe that it's upside down, as probably many other people do as well. I guess if I could say anything at all, it would be that you know, we're all beings of light, beings of God, and that needs to be the you know, at the forefront of how we approach medicine and government as well, which is another reason why I was running for governor. But you know, if you look at it one way, I believe it's Copernicus and Hippocrates. They were healers first, and then, you know, they went down to the gladiator arenas and learned how to do surgery and diagram the body, came up with instruments, things like that. And that's the origin. And I obviously, as others do, I think that's the direction we need to go. We need to get back there. You know, energy healing medicine. For example, I was working in a doctor's office, and one time I was doing some energy healing work, and what I had seen inside during the session, I came out and I told the doctor, I said, based on what I've just seen, you should never prescribe pain medicine for anybody ever again. And that's how much I believe in the power of healing, the power of energy work. And I really, truly believe that's the direction we need to go. As governor, you know, my vision, I guess, was to kind of within the state overhaul our approach to medicine. And one thing, obviously, as you all know, is more research. The more research, the better. You know, my question that I always had when I was doing massage was, it obviously has an impact on the brain. And, you know, coming up with dosing, I think, is where we need to focus on. Like, for example, the question was, you know, how many doses, how many massages or reflexology or even energy sessions per week for an Alzheimer's patient. I had tremendous results with diabetics in one session. But if you enhance that, you know, even 2 times a day for Alzheimer's patients, and you know, you wonder if there's enough practitioners out there to cover something like that with all the patients out there. And you know, I firmly believe that you know, Spirit, God always provides the proper amount. We just need to once we start tapping into refocusing our healthcare, I think, you know, a lot of people will come forward and support going in a different direction.
Well, I think the COVID issue has really opened many people's eyes to the benefits of self-care.
Essential.
here in Colorado, we're fortunate, especially where we live, that we have plenty of fresh air and space and nature. And it was interesting how in the beginning, how they were telling people not to even go outside, when getting that sunlight, that vitamin D, is so important for everyone's health.
Kind of goes back to another plague with Nostradamus. Remember, he had people go outside and get into the sunshine. That helped during the plague.
Yeah, it's a form of alchemy. Yeah. So in Colorado itself, what's going on? What was it that motivated you really to run for governor?
You don't want to know that. Really. Honestly, I was asked. I mean, there's a big story behind that, but I go out at night, and I haven't been doing a lot of practice lately, and so since I moved to Crestone, I started doing the same kind of work, energy work, but with the mountains. When I was in Missouri, people had a hard time believing me about energy work, and so I realized that if I go up, and do the Qigong, where you put your hands on a tree, you can start feeling the pulses of the tree. And what I realized, with electricity, the last person who's holding the end of the electrical line is going to get most of the shock. So I would have people. I was doing a little construction work, and I'd have these construction workers come over, and they'd say, "Put your hands lightly on my back," and they would, and they could feel that more of the energy flowing through me, from the tree through me, and they would be shocked, and they'd kind of throw them back, and I'd say, "That's the energy from the tree." They were surprised. But anyway, since I've been out here, I kind of adapted it to communicating with the mountains, and mostly now with the stars. The stars. Last night I was out, and I don't know what the purpose was at the moment, but you could feel the energy coming down, and I could just feel it go through my hand, and it kind of burned my hand a little bit. But actually, when I was going through school over 20 years ago, I had this idea that one day, I know this may sound crazy to you, but one day we'll be able to go out, and I'll say, go stare at Venus for 20 minutes, and you'd be amazed once that energy starts flowing through your body, and it really does heal. It's healing. There's so many different things in nature that we can use that would be beneficial, but we need to acknowledge the source. I believe, and then start from there and build our healthcare from there. I don't believe in allopathic medicine. I'm sorry, I just don't. Like Dr. Still said around 100 years ago, he said, allopathic medicine or Western medicines go in the wrong direction. And he started developing the techniques for craniosacral. So that's, we know how powerful that is. And, that alone, working with that energy source and using that technique is extremely beneficial for head injury patients, as well as, all kinds of other ailments.
Yesterday, we're opening a wellness center here with oxygen therapy,
Right.
because we're way up, like 9,000 feet. And yesterday we had an open house, and I had a friend come in whose nervous system was completely out of whack. She was just trembling. And so we laid her on the table. I did some craniosacral, and within a few minutes, she had completely relaxed. And so these alternative techniques are so important right now for everyone. And also, as we all know at Healing Earth, and we're always talking about the connection with nature and the connection with the food we eat. You have a garden, right?
Yes. Try and always eat fresh fruit. The society we live in is a Coke and McDonald's society, and we really need to get away from that, obviously.
Yeah, we're very, well, honestly, our governor, he wasn't so bad. I mean, during the whole COVID, at least he got to the point where he said, because he's libertarian leaning Democrat, he said, well, this is up to you. We're not going to mandate. at a certain point, he's just, this is up to you, you know, and I think that's the way it should be in
As it
general.
should be. Mhm.
Yeah. There's so much now, you know, crying out in America of women, my body, my choice. But those same people are like, oh yeah, we'll just take any vaccine, we'll experimental
Right.
thing, we'll just do that. But it's a strange world. And here at Healing Our Earth and in our world here in Crestone, we're doing everything we can to really bring this like joy back and connection to each other and sharing. There's a lot of alternative healers here. And so there's a lot of sharing of knowledge and ways to help people, no matter what their choice in any way. We're here to heal. And isn't that the basis of it all, where from Hippocrates and way back into Ayurveda and traditional Chinese
Right.
medicine?
Well, it's essentially we get back to the truth of who and what we are. And my experience is God lives in all of us. God lives in every being, every tree, and radiates out from the mountains and the stars. And until we get back to that truth, we're always going to fail. There's always going to be failure in our healthcare system as well as our government.
Well, first of all, do no harm. It seems that so much of the industry, the healthcare industry, has become about greed and about money, not really about healing. And what's so beautiful about, you know, Dr. Gupta and Keith and everybody here today is they really understand the heart of it and the art of it. Namaste, Dr. Gupta.
Namaste, so nice meeting you. It's East meeting the West. It's a great opportunity. And I think it's in the true sense. I was born in India. So that's actually the roots. And I studied the natural Ayurveda, homeopathy. I've done a course and then took the nature, going into the whole medical school, doing post-graduation and becoming a consultant after like 15 years of study. I understand both sides, as you mentioned, Sharon. I appreciate that. This is the beauty. If you understand only one side, you are singing your own praises because you have never seen the other world. That's the beauty, that you understand and tolerate and respect each other, and there that becomes a toolbox, a choice. This is best here, this is best here, and let the person using make a choice, because personality is different, body is different, the time is different, and we should give a choice. If you tell a person who has cut the leg and is bleeding on the road after road traffic accident that I'm going to pray for you and you die here, that's not going to be very helpful for that person. So it's a time and place for everything. And the idea is to integrate, bring the best from everything. Everything is so good. It's so powerful. And that's why I love. Bring the best in everything and put like a compact system. This is the best. And then you offer, you have served the purpose for which the God has sent you on this earth.
I agree with you completely. You know, I was a professional dancer, and many of you know, disciple of Sitara Devi, my Guruji, and danced for many 8 hours a day for many years. So also genetically, you know, both my parents had hip replacements. And if it hadn't been for hip replacements, I'd probably be in a wheelchair now. So, but the thing is, what I did was I really spent so much time also doing alternative practices and medicine while I was going through that. And I remember being in the hospital, I said, okay, I'm going in and I feel that all of the nurses there are there to help me, and they were like angels. I thought that we have some angelic conference coming up we're going to talk about, but it's really about your attitude. And I think these days you're right. We need to bring the best of all these different traditions together. And I think that's really the purpose of Healing Our Earth. And thank you, Neil Kumar, for actually bringing us all together. We're just thrilled. So Wai-Ching,
Yes, I'm here.
namaste. Would you
Fully
like?
present.
Yes.
Namaste. And, after 30 years of being in integrative medicine in different countries, I definitely sense, feel, embody the best of both worlds. I too agree that allopathic medicine has its place. But it's now coming back to balance because, the traditional systems are 5,000 years old and since time immemorial. And when we first knew our body, when we first took our first breath, and we all come from the stars, as Jack is saying also. And so, but now we have this beauty of scientific evidence. And I say beauty because it's an exploration. It's an exploration in our evolution as humanity, isn't it? That we are actually balancing all of that. And I'm excited for the future technologies. I'm super excited because they are so effective. And cutting through and being a Qigong teacher and healer, I'm actually very grateful for a lot of technologies that can help my clients and patients around the world without me. I am so grateful for that. And
Yeah.
and with new technologies, I'm always wearing this to protect myself from the radiation. And I've not met a single Qigong teacher who can actually overcome the high frequency 5G, 4G radiation from the computer and for our telephones. I have not met one. Okay, so let's be humble and say we can integrate what is coming. And this is a beauty. This is so beautiful. And sometimes, unfortunately, we have to go into the descent of the soul to show what is dark, what doesn't work, both on a healthcare system as well as on a governmental system. I'm not political, but I'm finally like going into the, shall I say, the psycho, spiritual, political arena that we all have to, and this is the holistic approach. So I'm excited to learn more about Jack and see what you're doing to cut through into the portals of politics. And what would you do or doing as governor of Colorado? And you have great hair to go with it. So that would be that shows, wait a minute, that shows health, right? So
Right.
what would you do? What would you do? What have you done? And I'm really rooting for politicians who are holistically feeling. So please give us your vision.
Well, I think, right now we're not in the, well, coming from the belief system of more of an integrative approach, I don't think the majority of people are on this page. I think most people are still with allopathic medicine. And I do agree that, allopathic medicine is important. And that's what Copernicus and Hippocrates discovered. You can't pray over an arm that's been torn off by a lion. But I think we need to increase research. And I think another thing is we need to really, if I could wave a magic wand, and I'm going to try tonight with the full moon, literally, anybody who wants to participate, I'm going to try and do a ceremony during the eclipse and see if I can radiate energy out to people from the moon. I know it sounds crazy, but I think I can do it. But just changing the mindset of people, I think, is going to be key, to accepting who we are, and then you can grow from there. But I definitely think people really value research and they value numbers. So I think we need to increase research. Like I said, find out how many massages, find out the dosing for somebody with Alzheimer's or diabetes or something else. But and I think once we get a little bit more accepting of these ideas, and maybe trade, or maybe more open with our techniques and things like that, I think we can. We're coming at it from such a limited view at the moment. I think we're kind of handicapped. Some of the things that you guys were talking about as far as like knees and ankles and stuff like that, you know, the result of, say, Sharon's hips could have been because somebody didn't see it in a different way and instead opted for, you know, this final mission that she did. And I think, you know, maybe if we are more understanding and accepting that maybe we can discover some of these things. I think we're really at the beginning of understanding of different techniques. You know, like Dr. Stephen Kaufman, the pain neutralization technique that I do was developed by him. He found 5 different mechanisms to turn off pain. I mean, I don't see a lot of Stephen Kaufman out there, but these are physical techniques that you can do that'll change everything. For example, he's got a hypertension protocol. You know, you do 3 different things or 4 different things. It takes about 10 minutes, and you can drop somebody's hypertension sometimes permanently. Whereas, you know, I had a nurse come, or not a nurse, it was a lady that was in med school. She came into my office one time, and she and I had this conversation. And she said, it's really funny that we're having this conversation. I said, why is that? And she said, well, I just came from one of my classes, and the doctor said, if you ever put me on hypertension medicine, you may as well just shoot me in the head. It's that destructive to the body. And so here's a physical technique that takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that can alleviate something permanently, as opposed to going and taking a pill from a doctor. So it's our understanding of what we're doing and how the body actually works is going to be a key, you know, trying to get people to see differently and being responsible for their own healthcare. That alone is huge. I mean, you know, I don't know, you know, I always used to say that if somebody comes into my office and, you know, I help them and they turn around and drink a bottle of cyanide, there's nothing I can do about it. Literally, and I can't control that. So they've got to be able to, you know, take responsibility. And, you know, and I think that if we really could change the mindset of people, you know, I think people will really take a valued interest in their own healthcare more, get away from Coke and McDonald's. But I think it's how we see the world at the moment. And it seems like you know, the Coke McDonald's idea has the upper hand at the moment, the popular hand. But, you know, I think if we can get people in to see the value and see results, I think that'll change minds, change the way we see things in our approach.
I do want to mention.
And then maybe you could stay on and see Dr. Cj Rhodes. Cj will be speaking, and she's very evidence-based and based on research and all on the principles of Qigong and the energy work, and, you know, with the transmission. And we know that there are many incidences of miracles, milagros, in energy healing, right? And so we are definitely integrating that into this wonderful global integrated health forum. And we definitely want to bring in the political aspect. And then we also have Stephanie Lodge here, who is a founder of the Angelic Summit. And so, you know, we can look at the esoteric spectrum, right, of healing and how it can be integrated. And, you know, it will speak to different people in different ways, in our hearts, in our resonance. So we have Stephanie.
Hi.
Hi.
Namaste to you.
Global
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you for having me. So honored to be here.
Right. Welcome. And, you know, I could read out what you do, but certainly you could just tell us first of this Angelic Summit. Thank you for inviting me in too, because, you know, I like the angelic work. And so if I may just introduce Stephanie here, and she considers herself a channel for the Celestial Councils of Light over 15 years. So she has led the shift from seeing angels solely as beings outside of us to embodying their frequency as our own divine nature. So this goes back to what you're saying, Jack, as well, and everybody else who's been saying, and Dr. Rajiv as well, our own angelic nature. So there are different practices like angelic light streaming, diamond light language, which we share actually, the light languages. This is the gift that we were given Stephanie and I. And then there are all the different healing methods that she brings in, and she will speak about that. And she has founded the angelhood.com. So you got that, the angelhood.com, and also the founder of Angelic Academy. And she's also the producer of Angelic Summit, which is coming up. It's the same time as Better Way. So, you know, you can just teleport and just tune into the different platforms. And she has also education in film production, Sharon Rose. And so she enjoys creating these events for group collaboration.
Collaboratives.
Yes.
Tongue twister.
So tell us more about the Angelic Summit and what was your impetus and what was your
Yeah.
inspiration by divine grace to do this?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me again. So Angelic Summit was actually born in 2020. Well, 2019, I got the impetus to bring it forward in 2020, right before COVID hit, or what I affectionately call the crown of thorns. And I would say that it was right on time, because essentially what we did was we brought in many speakers to launch the summit. It was the first summit of its kind, where we were really seeing angelic as essentially interfacing with the idea of being quantum. Right, so less about the wings and the halos and the mystical and mythical, as much as what does that represent archetypally as elements of us, like who we are, what we can tap into consciously, and so forth. So I brought about 23, 24 speakers from around the world. We laid kind of this beautiful foundation. And then I took a year off to do a different Magdalene Mastery Summit. And then this year I'm bringing it back in collaboration with heal.art, because they approached me to do an angel event. I said, well, what better thing to do than just to revive what I already have, and we'll just have you partner in. So that's what we're doing. And we're doing it a bit shorter and smaller, because the first one was about a whole week, which was really intense. So I said, I'm not quite up for that, but let's do a 3-day, version. And Monday, May 20th, we open with some beautiful music. We'll be sharing about, what the summit is really about, which the theme for this one is the Guardians of Light, United for Peace, because obviously we have a lot of polarization on the planet in a myriad of ways. And when we come into unity consciousness and we alchemize together as a group, we really create an anchor of light, in my opinion, on the planet that then, if you know about cellular entrainment, right? When energy matches energy, that whole idea of entrainment will come in and give a boost of light into the planet for everyone to feel, whether they know it's happening or not. But the more guardians we have come in, more teachers like yourself, Amalia, and others, and more affiliates that come in and just bring in their legions, right? It's kind of just gathering the tribes. That's what it's serving to do. So I'm excited about that. And we're going to have some wonderful speakers from all around the world, including yourself, and about $300 worth of bonuses for people who want to be one of our VIP angels, which means you'll be in the summit with us, right? You'll get to engage with us. You'll chat with everybody. There'll be lounges for people to mix and mingle. It'll be really fun. And I'm excited to be bringing that extra element in with airmeet.com. And yeah, that's a little bit of a kind of overview. Did you want to ask any questions or anything else for the listeners here?
Certainly. I'll put the link there, for to get into the summit. And what I'm really interested in is like how I've been guided to bring ancient wisdom, right? The old traditional divine ways of healing in Qigong, let's say, to quantum science. And I just love the title of your work, right? And so what we're going to do is, if you can just speak a little bit about that, is to speak about the DNA genome of our angelic presence.
The angelic genome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of my work really works with these ancient keys that honestly predate pretty much anything written, but I think they were captured within the time frame when Kabbalah came in. But honestly, one of my mentors is the Magdalene Yeshua consciousness. And it was very clear. They said, leave all of the dogma out of it. It's go straight to the frequency. It is the faith that is your frequency that will move you through. And these frequencies, I see them as keys, unlock us from what you might call the 3D matrix, as people might call it, right? The consciousness of money is God and we have to hustle to survive, and all of this survival mode, right? That puts us in the lower base chakra systems, right? And it's just this burnout happens after a while. And, as far as adrenal fatigue and all the things that can happen from that. So when we start to know that we are so supported from these other vibrations of frequency energy that are massively charged, and we are able to integrate them into our bodies, and we're able to activate our own DNA to be fortified by them. I actually led an entire diamond dream alchemy, I called it, but it was basically, we were dreaming awake new reality using these keys. We were working all over the world with different people to anchor light and activating these keys in such a way that they served as antidotes, honestly, to what came as COVID and even the vaccines, if you will. So all of that was really powerful, because wherever the consciousness was, I look at it as consciousness is queen or king, right? Consciousness is what's creating all of this. So to me, whatever trappings we get caught into, the mud of the mind, will lower all the vibration, and that's going to lower your immune system and everything else. So for me, the angelic genome is really powerful, because that is where we really claim our authority as our source created us and our creator, right? However you want to label it. And that is where we can kind of activate into our field how we would like our experience to go. And it gets into layers, but I would say from a health standpoint, I really look at light, I look at frequency and vibration, I look at moving certain light streams into the body specifically, and knowing through the frequency of faith, but even more so, it's a knowing, a gnosis that says my word is law, and what I speak into form happens. And when we take accountability for that, we stop saying, oh, I have a headache, oh, I have pain, oh, I don't feel good. We stop saying those kind of things, right? And so that's really part of it too. It's a mind, spirit, body, emotion, all of it, right? And we have to look at, as all of you talk about, the holistic status of that. So that's what I work with mostly, is the consciousness and the frequencies of these quantum angelic vibrations that we're all connected to.
Fabulous. And so yourself in your work, this is like the esoteric part, like more and more people are awakening, and this time of the lockdown, which I call cocooning, actually, I think it's a beautiful COVID cocooning, where a lot of people are awakening to their divine nature because they have no choice. Yes, sometimes we are pushed to it, and sometimes it's pain, right? When people own their pain, oh, my knee pain, oh, my back pain. And so they have to own their pain to get over it. And there are many choices where people can go through. And that's what we're offering here in Integrated Health Forum, is choices. Choose the one that you resonate with best, whether it's just going to the divine, going to an institution, or just directly to the stars of our origins. Or we want to take a herbal preparation, a concoction, a decoction, or use crystals or sonic healing for 32 hertz, whichever it is, we are offering people choices. So yes, please. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, to me, everything starts as consciousness is light, right? And it informs the stars, it informs our crystals, it informs our plants. And what I've been finding in my work, and we'll talk about this more in the summit, we get into a little bit more of the mysteries of things. Everything's shifting. The entire galaxy is elevating, ascending, if you will. The entire system is ascending. So are the crystals. They're shifting. So are the plants. They're shifting. So when we acknowledge that, and we acknowledge how that reflects in us and how we engage with it, it's really beautiful, because we have to go to the intuitive now. I tell my clients all the time, if you think you're going to go through logic and reasoning to get through what this current vortex energy is right now, right? Sometimes, and even in the cocoon, if you're just going to mentalize, no, there has to be a heart on board. There has to be an intuitive nature now. That's the only thing you can really discern, and frequency never lies. So that's how I'm seeing us shifting, and why we had that kind of quarantine time, and it might come and go. I'm not going to say that's going to be happening, but it will be required if people don't get it, right? If they're not getting the pinprick, they're not getting the little hammer, the sledgehammer, the wrecking ball comes. I mean, that's the reality. Like, we're stubborn as humans sometimes. So we sometimes need these catalysts that are massive, right? To move us. That's what I feel is happening, right? We need that sometimes. And I do agree with you. I call it acknowledging the pain in the body. Acknowledge, hi, pain, what's going on? What do you need to tell me? You know? And if it's something painful, like I put these patches, they're called halo patches, I call them. And I'll put that on because there's something going on maybe. So I acknowledge what my body's telling me as an instrument. I listen, and then I take action in whatever ways and tools that I need to do, you know, and sometimes I need a little support, you know, and that's okay. You know, we can do all the spiritual, but sometimes there's a physical factor that does help. And why not? I'm not saying throw that out. I'm saying use it. So I agree with you for sure.
Yeah, we're spirit into matter, you know, we have physical forms as well. So we have to honor all of it. It's so exciting, the new medicine that we are creating, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yes. And what have you done personally, let's say in any integration into the allopathic Western system? Have you done any work like that?
You know, my work is really, how I see it right now, is really about getting the DNA supported. And I do that with DNA customized nutrition out of these states. It's only available in the States really right now. And the halo patches, it's patchyourhalo.com for those interested. But
give me those patches. They're amazing quantum.
Yeah.
Some of them is transdermal, some not, you know.
This is not transdermal.
I work with nature's frequencies too, like, and this protects me, my thyroid.
Yeah, I've used things like that too.
A couple of patches.
I have tools too. I took them anyways, but yeah, the patch is really interesting because they're not transdermal. What they do is they work with the photonic energy of your body, and the infrared activates them. This one is actually good for kind of creating a Faraday cage similar to what you wear on your body for EMF. This creates it in your cells. So they communicate into the cells. There's about 130 patents on these. They've been around for a long time, but for me, what I do is I combine them with things. So I don't just do one thing. I'm like, okay, we have this, you know, I kind of create a holistic, you know, mechanism. And what I like about these is they activate your stem cells. And so we have trillions of stem cells, but they just kind of don't really get activated. You need to turn them on. So it's like firemen sitting there going, where's the fire? And you have to ring the bell, right? But I also work with supplements that lengthen telomeres of our DNA. And to be honest, with everything going on right now in the world, I feel the DNA is kind of the front lines, and that needs the most fortification. So that's where I focus my attention, and I do work on it spiritually. So I work with a lot of different frequencies and energies, and I've done Reiki and all that, but to be honest with you, I've kind of moved into my own lane of what I do, and I just do energy. That's the best way to say it.
Likewise, me too, moving into your own system. And I believe that everybody has to find their own way. And then that's why there's a rise in the coaching, this industry, because people are offering their personal experiences, which is, you know, the most valuable. And then people who resonate with them will just come into the field, the morphogenetic field. And so we all have a part to play in this.
Absolutely.
You know, yeah, so we will just resonate with the right practitioner for us at the right time. So everything is really,
you know what I want to say, Alamia, really quick, what's really exciting, I'm like, sorry, because when the stream starts coming.
Yes, we let it come, we're channeling it.
Yeah, I want to tell everybody what I love about what you're doing here is collaborative, right? It's going to be about collaboratives. And I'm designing something through Angelic Academy, like a little bit of a, let's call it an experiment with a couple girlfriends and practitioners. And we're going to be doing multiple kind of triangulation, I guess, like almost like a triple goddess triangulation of working with somebody and accelerating them through whatever they're going through. And I'm going to try it out and see how it works, and then possibly bring on other practitioners. But the point is, I believe we must now help each other. There's been so much competition, even in the spiritual space, the esoteric, and as well as even in the integrative health space. There's always a sense of like competition. And I think what I'm feeling and why I created the summit was to bring in the unity consciousness more, that we're helping each other. There's plenty for everybody. There's millions of people who need practitioners like us. There's plenty. And I feel it's going to be about the frequency and vibration of alignment. You come together with the right person at the right time for the right period of time, and you might then graduate to a different person or whatever, and trusting that all is going to be supported. When we have that consciousness, then the scarcity goes out. And when the scarcity goes out, we don't have static. We don't have this underlying energy that just feels not so great, right? And the angelhood.com was a social network I created to start that process, right? And then the Angelic Summit, of course, is kind of just an offspring of that, right, as well, because it's when we gather together, you know, and talk and engage. But the Angelhood lives on all year. So you're welcome, everyone, to join us and just bring your light, bring what you do, you know, share your teachings. And anyway, just wanted to make sure we get that in there. I'm all about collaboration. So important.
Yes, yes, very important now, you know, because we're weaving the whole tapestry of the new matrix of light, all of us, that we're doing that. And, you know, this triangulation work I've been doing since 1990 when I had this angelic awakening. Amalia is actually my angelic name that came through. And so this works. We know that when we send, we emanate these thought forms into the field. And this has been, you know, scientifically, you know, researched as well and tabulated in, let's say, the Heart Math Institute. You know, we know that it works. And so those of us who are aware, we're conscious of what we think and what we say and how we feel, that we can quickly move through it. And once we are aware of the frequency technologies and how we can do it, it's not so difficult, you know. We just easily can do it, whether with the help of technologies or techniques. Biohacking, I call it, what we know inside. And so we don't need any more external tools, but with external tools, it could be faster. So Dr. Rajiv, do you have a comment or question for us and Stephanie, and all the way to the soul spectrum?
I think it's very interesting to hear, and I completely agree that there is a mind, body, and soul connection. And living in UK for 30-40 years now, and having born in India, where whole practice of prayer and the healing is so powerful, I know that it works. My mom, when I was a little kid, used to pray, and it worked. She herself had some problem with her legs and swelling, and she had a Vaidya, which is Ayurvedic doctor, who come and put some special leaves and then crush the leaves and give her to drink. She got better. So each system works, and that's the beauty, that when you have a focused thinking, healing happens, because body has a natural way to heal. That's how God has made us.
Yes. Yeah, we can fully self-heal if we have the belief. Has to be there, of course. That's a big part of it. But then the body will reflect all, you know, that we're thinking and consciously aware of and emotionally processing. And one of the things I want to share with people, which is a really important message, is if you're accessing, let's say somebody's energetically aware, I call that, versus sensitive, because sensitive kind of lends itself to vulnerability. And I don't believe anyone's a victim or vulnerable in that way energetically, right? We're very powerful, actually. But when we go to grief a lot, when people access, let's say, grief, that's a really easy emotion and they're processing through grief. And that's kind of covering up some of the pain, right? The pain that they've gone through. And then that's sometimes covering up the fear. And the fear is actually of their power sometimes, or the fear can be of their anger, their rage that's inside because of things that have happened to them, or they're witnessing and they can't handle what they're seeing in the world. Digestion, most of the digestive issues we have is people literally can't stomach what they're witnessing. It's like they can't digest it. They can't even process some of the things that they're dealing with. So I feel when we go direct to the anger and we get the issues out of the tissues, we get the stuff out that's really hardcore, and we let it rip, we let it out, go in your car, go somewhere private, you know, where you can just get it out, right? It actually, it's almost like it blows out the other energy that's holding you hostage to yourself. It's like you're creating your own quarantine within, you're creating your own prison system when you're just bound to this anger. So I always say, really dive in and go, wait, you know, am I angry about that? Get real about it and release it out. And then you'll see all these other things kind of just dissipate because you allowed that to happen. Because what I'm going to say is you can't access your true power if you have this interrupter called anger. The true power, what I would call source collected power, there's two things you require to get that. Humble heart, which a lot of you have, I feel that, but also the release of any hidden anger inside. It could be something from childhood, it doesn't matter. There's no judgment about it. It's just a frequency energy that's like, holding it. So I would just want to offer that. There's somebody in the room, the angels tell me always like what to speak about on demand. So there's someone in the room that needs to hear this. So I'm sharing that so that, you have full permission to go out and just, hit the pillows, do whatever you got to do to give the body the permission to let it go. Because we'll do all the mental and process and process and process and process, but it's the body mechanism, the instrument that still holds the memory, and it needs to be released out of the body. So I wanted to offer that. Thank you.
Yes, because I remember in old times, Wai-Ching, that there was a surgeon who would go and do a prayer before doing the surgery, because it's all working together. There's a healing power outside, and the God actually give me power to do this operation so as to become successful. And that is what I have seen as the conglomeration and the collaboration work together to make, because we, instead of having an ego, leave that ego. What can you do to give the best benefit to the patient we are treating, or the client, or the person? And well-being of the other person is more important than us. So bring everything together to do the best. So on observation, thank you.
Yes. Yes, Dr. Reggie, it's so beautiful that we have true physicians now who are also metaphysicians, who understand both. Yes.
Amazing. And Deepak Chopra, I hear, has done exactly the same. He's gone here, being endocrinologist, gone back to India, back to roots, cutting back. So we all, as a human being, and I always say, I teach the medical students and the postgraduate doctors that first we are human being, then we are doctor, and then we are whatever consultant, whatever. If we keep connected to the roots, then we will have a bigger base.
Yes.
We really have that.
Yes, I mean, with trauma healing, there's no way that we can just heal with just a machine. We have to heal through our hearts and our lovingness, our compassion, our humanity in this. And so that's the healing. And so, Sarah, would you like to chime in and ask a question or comment? We hope to see you on the Angelic Summit as well.
Yeah, thank you. Stephanie, that was really, really lovely to hear you speak. I think so many of us are on the same wavelength on this call right now. And it is an honor to hear from all of you. I really connect with the fact that, everything is about source. And we are all empowered, and we're all connected and one with our higher soul and the divine source. And we're all here to help humanity. We all have a purpose. And I think it's just recognizing that and working together to that common goal. So I just love hearing from all the different people that have all these special connections with the higher powers, if you like. I just do pranic healing, but I think, I really respect all the work that everybody here does, and, to have the kind of connections that you have and the gifts that you have, and to share those to help, the world and the earth, I think is amazing. So, thank you for sharing.
Sarah, thank you for your heart share in that space. And I just want to say, your pranic healing is exceptional. So when you say I just do it, just know that's exceptional, and that's more than enough, and you're doing so much, and the angels just want me to let you know that, just please honor all that you're doing. It's amazing that you put your whole intention in that, really powerful energy. So thank you for your work.
Oh, thank you. Well, they say energy goes where your intention goes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Mhm. Nice to meet you.
Oh, here it is, the Angelic Summit. I'll find the link and then I'll post it. Sharon, do
Yeah.
you have a question? Sharon or Keith? Keith was on for a little bit.
I would
Any-
like to speak a little about anger.
Oh,
Yeah.
please.
Studying the emotional body has been, if you know astrology, I have Moon Pluto conjunct in Leo. So ancient traditions and emotions have been part of my life. So we're about to transition into talking about Qigong and the World Congress. But I'd like to say that there are some wonderful practices in Qigong, such as the 6 healing sounds, that really help release the negative emotions from the organs and from the whole being. So the 6 healing sounds is one of them. And so it'd be the liver that holds the anger. And so someday maybe I can come on and just teach the different sounds, which would be wonderful, because I found this incredibly beneficial. Also in the Tibetan tradition, anger is the negative emotion. But if you ride that, and if you recognize the anger coming in and feel it, because it gives you tremendous energy. If you recognize it, instead of like screaming at someone, feel that energy and know that it gives you great clarity. And so with that clarity, you can be very insightful about what the cause is and how to address it.
Beautiful. Love it.
Hi, Cj.
Yeah, hi. I actually think it's one of the reasons why the medical community isn't, they should be accepting of the concept that anger, people who are angry at things, that impacts their health. I know that in one of my issues, you know, and I'll talk about this later when I talk, what is the chronic pain that I had, it took me years to realize that my anger was keeping my pain getting worse. It was absolutely getting worse because of my anger, and I had to let go of all the anger before the pain started to dissipate. So that, I think it's key, absolutely key. It's not just a sideways thing, and I think we can prove that in research. So that's my whole thing.
Oh, excellent, Cj, because you know how focused you are on research, and this is really so important. And you know, we've just gone on to like psychosomatic healing, so we're just getting there now to understanding this in the integrative medicine aspect of things, right? And so may I invite Keith now to come on and comment? You're on, Keith.
Okay, well, I'm not sure I can compete with all the knowledgeable people that you are. And I think it's interesting that I listened to Stephanie, and I'm afraid that you and I are on the same planet, but not on the same wavelength. I have explained to my colleagues in Healing Our Earth that I'm a former shipyard apprentice. I'm used to looking at mechanical things. And sorry, Sharon, this is identifying with you, is that, yes, you need a hip replacement, but you've overcome it. I've had one knee replacement, I have another coming up, and I have all sorts of physical problems, which up until a heart attack in 1997 was all about stress. And for those of us in management, we're very interested in how to get the next task finished. And is it going to be within budget? And is it going to be successful? And can we sell it? Now, I'm amazed at the number of people. And Jack, I would love a conversation with you at 9,000 feet, because I'd be getting my breath back and you would be saying, hug the tree, Keith, for goodness sake, slow down. Okay. But I think that the message I want to get across is Stephanie, you use one word which has already come up on the text: collaboration. Rajiv and I are working incredibly closely with the Tai Chi and Qigong Union for Great Britain and how we work together with Healing Our Earth. That is collaboration. I have spoken some time ago to this wonderful person, Cj Rhodes, and I'm going to get off of here in a moment because she has to be away in a few minutes. But the collaboration I have is with about 10 or 15 organizations in the in the US. And I don't know which one to choose. And I'm going to be asking that wonderful lady called Cj Rhodes, what can you tell me about these organizations and who are going to follow it?
Yeah.
The only point I will say at the moment is that on the 4th of this month, the professional standards for approved Tai Chi and Qigong health and well-being instructors has been approved. And we were building on that and working with yoga experts. I'm absolutely delighted that as a practical person, I am able to speak with you guys and learn so much. But at my age, I'm looking at succession management. And who is at least 10 years younger than me or younger? How are you going to meet these aims and visions? That's all I have to say at the moment. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Keith. And so this is a perfect time to introduce Cj and to thank Stephanie for bringing in a whole different frequency here. And I will put the link in once I find it. So with Cj, yes, here's Angelic Summit, and I will put the direct link there that will take you there in a minute. And
thank you for having me, everybody. And I just want to say to Keith, I honor you because as much as there's the electricity types, there's the grounding wires, right? There's the grounding agents, and we need them all. We're all needed for this. So I honor everybody here and your vibration. And Keith, I would say the group that you should go with, I mean, to give you my advice from my heart to yours, is just the one that brings you the greatest joy, the people you resonate with, people that make you feel good to be around, and have fun. And that's really the most important thing when we're doing this work, is not to get too serious, but like have fun with it, because that's going to be what's magnetic. That's what's going to bring people to come in to whatever container you're building. So I invite all of you to be in an Angelic Summit. Thank you so much for having me, Emily. I have to go and get more people prepared. So I love you all, and I'll come back another time and hang out longer when I have time.
Part of the family now, isn't she, Dr. Rajiv? Yes, and thank you so much. And then,
Thank you.
Stay on if you can and stay in touch.
All right. Bye, loves.
Right. And so now we have Cj, affectionately known as Cj, but she's a real go-getter, and she's a highly sought-after speaker and author, consultant on healthcare, leadership, business strategy, and technology topics. So she's been studying Tai Chi and Qigong for more than 30 years and is the Managing Director of Health, Prosperity, and Leadership, HPL Institute, an umbrella organization with over 30 programs and partners devoted to helping develop the International Medical Tai Chi Association and the symposium. Wait a minute. She's involved in with HPL and World Tai Chi and Qigong Day, Symposium for Integrative Health, Tai Chi and Qigong, the International Medical Tai Chi and Qigong Association, and the World Congress on Qigong, Tai Chi, TCM, and Natural Healing. And Cj is also a professor in the College of Business at Kutztown University, an avid integrative healthcare researcher, and the author of 10 books and over 250 articles. She has been honored with dozens of awards, including 21st World Congress Leadership Award, Tai Chi Chuan Promoter of the Year, Top Faculty Researcher of the Year, and Martial Arts Promoter of the Year. She was admitted to the Hall of Fame by the Fellowship of the United Martial Artists and is a national gold medalist for women's push hands. So you can see that power comes in little packages too, right, Cj?
Yes, indeed. And you can't tell, of course, but I'm pretty short too. So,
yeah, both of us.
So I am here helping Effie Chow, Dr. Dame Effie Chow, or Dame Dr. Effie Chow, I'm not real sure, with the 22nd World Congress on Qigong, Tai Chi, traditional Chinese medicine, and natural healing, which is a mouthful. It's a wonderful event that's going to happen in September. We are, however, just at the very, very beginning of the planning. So the website isn't even up yet. There's, lots of, we have a logo, great logo, but we're still doing all the planning for the rest of it. So, but it's going to be a wonderful event because everything that Effie's involved in is a wonderful event. I want to start by talking a little bit about you've got these different worlds, and one of the worlds that we have is this fabulous integrative healthcare world with lots and lots of different activities, Tai Chi, Qigong, and Reiki, and the power of prayer, and angelic missions, and just a ton of absolutely fabulous stuff. And then we have the real world, the people who don't know anything about that world, who just are in pain and need something. Jack Dillinger had mentioned earlier that he believes pain medication should not be given to anyone at any time for any reason. And I am 100% in agreement with that. Not because of the reasons you might think. People might think, well, it's because you're going to get addicted to it. No, it's because it doesn't work. I'm sorry, but opioid pain medications specifically don't work. They have the #1 side effect of those medications is something called hyperaphasia. Everybody who takes opioids gets hyperaphasia. And what that is increased pain. So yeah, it tempts it down temporarily, but it doesn't get rid of it. It just delays your feeling of it, and then when you actually feel it, you feel more pain. So that's why you have to take more medication. People think it's your brain adjusting to the amount, but no, it's your body actually producing more pain because of the changes in your brain. So why do I start with this little thing is because it has to do with my personal passion. This is all my personal passion. And why? Because in 2002, I was in a terrible car accident and was left with chronic back and neck pain. And modern Western medicine had one answer for me, opioids, and I took them for nearly a year. And it took away the pain, but it also took away everything else, my ambition, it took away my ability to think straight, it took away my life, basically. And so it wasn't until I figured out I got to get off these things for me to be able to live my life again that I needed to find a solution. And since I'd been to every single doctor in the world in my area, I knew that didn't have any answer for me. But because I'd been doing Tai Chi for fun for 10 years, I knew a lot of people who were in this world because Tai Chi is one of those integrative health practices. And so I started on this lifelong journey of figuring out how to get rid of my chronic pain, and I have succeeded. And yes, integrative healthcare works. It works for real, which is when I started my lifelong journey to figure out why. See, I'm a scientist. I'm not willing to believe that that it's just in the air, or it's God's will, or it's karma, or it's the spirit, or it's the angels, or whatever. I understand people who believe that, and I also understand it's really hard to figure out why it's working. So, and there's no reason to figure out why it's working because it works. So, that's all we need to know. But that's not all I needed to know. I needed to know why. Why did it work? Why is it that when I did these things, it took away my pain? Why? So I need to know. Now, Dr. Laurie had mentioned how easily corruptible pharmaceutical random control trials are, and that is like a part and parcel to the fact that money is involved in pharmaceuticals and surgical devices. And we're not talking a little bit of money, we're talking billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. And it is really, really hard to get any other path into the mindset of anyone because of all of that billions of dollars being made from pharmaceuticals and surgical devices. But I knew that there had to be a way. So one of the things I did was develop a random control trial protocol for integrative health practices, because I believe that is absolutely necessary in order to get acceptance. Yeah, I know that the pharmaceutical trials could be corrupted, and that's a big part of it. But the other big part of it is nobody's going to accept it if it's not random. And even though that may not be fair, you know, pragmatic controlled trials are often just as effective as random controlled trials. But the fact is, modern medical doctors are not going to accept it. But that doesn't mean we can't do random controlled trials. So that's why I developed the protocol. But here's the problem. In order to utilize it, we need money, lots and lots of money. And unfortunately, the integrative healthcare world is still way too fragmented to come together to get the kind of research that we need to demonstrate the efficacy and the efficiency of health practices. That's why events like this are so utterly important. The collaborative nature of this event and the 22nd World Congress and the International Medical Tai Chi and Qigong Association and all of these wonderful organizations, their ability to come together in order to start rowing in the same direction and perhaps find a way to raise the funds in order to do the random controlled trials, in order to convince the world that integrative healthcare isn't just quackery, and that it isn't pseudoscience, that it's real. And yeah, we can actually explain why sitting there and breathing deeply and thinking about the universe or thinking about God or praying, why does that work? It does work. Why? We can explain that. We just haven't had the control trials to do so. Now, I'm working on a series of economic studies that's going to show that integrative health practices, if integrated into the standard of care, would in the long run save us money. Again, billions and billions of dollars. Now, the problem is, again, those pharmaceutical companies and surgical device companies, they're not going to be interested in any science that says that integrative healthcare is helpful, because that cuts into their profits. And so I know that it's going to be trash and that I have to fight the politicians and the medical doctors, and it's going to be tough. But you know, I like a challenge, so I'm going to continue to try. It is in their best interest to present us all as crazy, as quackery, as pseudoscience. And it's my goal in life to prove that that's not true, that we are scientists, and that indeed we can prove that integrative healthcare can help people, that it often, in many cases, is more effective and efficient than pharmaceuticals or surgical device or surgery, and that we just need to know which one is best to use. Because, you know, there are many things that for which integrative healthcare is not appropriate, and surgical devices and pharmaceuticals are really needed for those things. The key is to find out which one is which. Now, the fact is that the medical community currently dismisses any evidence or support we have. Like Keith Sharp said, that the difficulty is getting the NIH and the insurance companies and the physicians to look at the insurance, but to look at the evidence. But one of the problems is that the evidence isn't strong enough yet, because we don't have enough of that research. So that's why I want to encourage all of that research to happen. We know that the reductionist practices of the modern medical Western world causes some people, like my friend Roger Yonka, to completely dismiss the medical world. He doesn't even like the word medicine, because it's a sick care system instead of a health care system. We all know that. We all understand that that's the way it is. Effie Chow wants to start an alternative health insurance-like company to pay for alternative health care because she knows that the insurance companies won't pay for it, and she knows that people need health in alternative integrative health care in order to help them. And so she's trying to find a way to make that happen. And so she and I have had many conversations about that. Now, I take a different perspective. I started the nonprofit company, Health, Prosperity, and Leadership Institute. And what that organization does is help other groups and organizations, those that are part of the solution, like the World Congress. That's one of the programs, the collaborative kinds of programs. I would invite Healing Our Earth organization to join with us and become one of our partners. At one of our programs is called Esclepios. The Esclepios Research Group is a group, that's the group that I do all my research under. So anybody that's doing integrative healthcare research can get their research posted on the Esclepios website. We're willing to help with editing and putting together the protocols and doing whatever needs to be done in order to get that research published and accepted by others. Of course, one of our biggest programs is World Tai Chi and Qigong Day, which, as you may all know, that was just last weekend, August 30th this year. And that was a fabulous event with hundreds of organizers all over the world. Another fabulous organization, one of our programs is the International Medical Tai Chi and Qigong Association. That, as a matter of fact, that's why I have to leave at 3 o'clock, because we have a board meeting that I have to get to. And then another one is the Symposium for Integrative Health, Tai Chi, and Qigong, which is having their event on August 13th. So, and this year it's going to be a virtual event. It used to be held in New Jersey on a wonderful retreat center and in Harvey Cedars, Long Beach, New Jersey. But because of COVID this year, we're once again having it online. Next year, hopefully we'll be able to go back in person, but of course we don't know that. But those aren't the only groups. We also have organic food banks and garden groups and a bluebird group and just tons of little organizations that are trying to save the health and increase the health, prosperity, and leadership of everybody in the world, everybody. So that's there's my little discussion. So I'd be happy. I'd love to answer any questions that anyone might have.
Yeah. CJ, so important what you touched on, economics, right? To show
Absolutely.
that. And that's really important also, isn't it, Dr. Rajiv, what you're doing? And here you have another research scientist warrior in our midst here to really support the Healing Our Earth global integrated health forum. So you have another resource. So please meet each other. And Dr. Rajiv, do you have a question for CJ?
Yeah, I'm very delighted, in fact, because the whole purpose of me being, professionally qualified, I've been chief investigator of the international trial on rabiprazole, and it was highly commended because we recruited, and I was the UK national coordinator and international trial principal. The purpose of research is to validate the evidence. Just I can say anything, and that doesn't mean anything, because the trust will come. We have been talking about trust. Trust comes from evidence. If you don't, now evidence is graded differently. You can have a strong evidence with, blinded, double-blind controlled trial. You can have a trial which is open trial, which is slightly lower, but still a trial. You can have a trial where there is a body or organization recommending it, or you can have individual recommendation. Now, this is all evidence, but the evidence...
True, but you know what? They're so focused, laser focused on random, that it's really hard to get them to look at all that other evidence. That's the problem. Now, I believe that's a problem. I believe they should open it up to others, but they don't.
I don't want to go in controversy because I'm a positive person. I want to live on positive note. I basically believe we need to trust each other. If you keep hitting each other, whole integration will fall apart. They will continue to hit you, you continue to hit them. We are probably not going to get anywhere. So I think my view is that majority people still believe collaboration is the way to go forward. And I think that is the way we should do it. And I think we should get as best evidence as we can. You know, it's not necessarily you have a controlled trial. I was telling somebody doing yoga. Now, how can you say this person is doing yoga and the other one is not?
There's a way. That's why I developed the protocol. So go to the Esclepios website and look at the protocol, and you'll find out. Yes, there is a way. So many people say there's no way to do a random controlled trial with Tai Chi and yoga and all that. Yes, there is. We just need to. There is a way. You just need to do it.
Okay, this is definitely conversation we need to deep dive. Mm-hmm. And yes, and our friend Sharon has to leave in a while, as you do, CJ. When do you have to leave? And so perhaps it could be a good time also to invite Dr. Effie Chow in, and also Sharon has something to show us. So if we can go there, and then maybe we can come back to you, Keith. And whoever can stay on, you know, this conversation goes on and on our third integrated health forum, and next week is also our fourth one. So we can all come back and you know, parlay a little bit more. But if I may just say thank you, CJ, if you need to leave, and then Sharon is going to show us something now. So Sharon, would you like to, before she has to leave? So everybody has busy schedules here. We're trying to juggle everyone, and of course just thank Effie. And Effie, you can stay on for a chit chat with Keith and everybody else. Sharon, would you like to proceed?
Yes. So many of you know that I've been working on this series called Quantum Qi, the Taoist Art of Nurturing Life, for a number of years now, that has just immersed me in the field. And so I would like to, before we leave today, to show you a little trailer, because we're planning to finally bring out the first 2 episodes during the World Congress. And because I want to make it something beneficial to the whole community. You know, I mean, I want to have an affiliate program for it, so a good affiliate program, so that everyone can earn money from this project that we've been doing and bring it out, because it's a really good introduction to this world of Qigong. So I'll show you. Let's see, advanced video. This is one of my trailers. Hi, I'm Sharon Rose. We invite you to join the Qi Revolution and help us bring forth the next wave in healing, movement, and mind-body integration.
Qi is the thread that weaves together the subtle arts into the martial arts and into the quantum field.
Each episode will explore the science and practices of Qigong, Tai Chi, acupuncture, and Taoism, spoken by masters of these arts.
In the Tao, we believe that negative energy and positive energy is energy. They are both forces equal.
Interviews with quantum physicists and medical professionals will expand upon these insights.
Newtonian physics focuses on the physical existence. Quantum physics focuses on the high vibrational existence of energy.
It's no longer just the posture, just the movement, just the spirit, but also a matter of the internal power, the Qi.
Quantum Qi will also include simple practices.
You're sunk and relaxed into the ground as though you're a tree. You're shooting out deep roots into the earth. You're feeling the ground through your feet.
You are designed to feel good. When you're feeling stressed or there's pain or tension in your body, these are messages to make some changes.
We do know that 75 to 85% of all disease is preventable.
A unique aspect of quantum Qi is the use of aerial drone footage of the masters performing their arts amidst the beauty of nature.
If you love nature and your heart is open to the rest of life, then all nature flows through you and supports you. The Qi supports you.
Visionary animations will educate people about Qi, the quantum field, the energy bodies beyond the physical, and more.
You have different pathways that energy moves in order to sustain your life force.
Someone said, well, I'm a patient. Can I do healing? Yes, everybody is a healer.
With some practice, many of us could rejuvenate, replenish ourselves constantly, and refine ourselves to become more youthful.
Everyone wants healthy. Everyone wants happy life. We need go other level. Qi and Qi connect. Heart and heart connect. We have big family.
In the end, why do we do Qigong? It's to lead a happy, quality, beautiful life, to elevate the human experience. So that's more than listening to all the bad news in the world. We can't change everything. We can change ourselves. This is what Qigong can do.
We invite you to join us in our wellness crusade, and may the Qi be with you.
So who's inspired to join us for the 22nd Congress of Qigong, Tai Chi, Natural Healing, Traditional Chinese Medicine, and Natural Healing? And so, Effie, would you like to say something about this? You were in there, right? You were just like wielding your sword in the trailer.
Thank you so much, Neil, Sharon, Amalia, all of you. I am speechless from all the wisdom that I've heard this morning. And the world should be infested with this, not the medical diversified, diverted, non-effective right now for life. And so there's a couple of things that I like to emphasize. I know the time is limited, but you are the creator of your own destiny. That's really important for everyone to realize. And you have choices. There are choices. And as some of the speakers are talking about teaching people what choices they have. And the thing is, we have so many different choices. One thing is the most important is that life is love and love is life. And that touch is very important. Although with this pandemic, we've been reduced. But remember, we are energy products. And there is no stopping. There is no beginning or ending. We are fused in with each other. So therefore, even if we think touch, we are touching one another. Even if we think hugs, we are hugging one another. And so you all, well, the ones who know me, know my famous prescription. At least 8 Effie Chow heart-to-heart hugs a day and 3 belly aching laughs a day. And the heart-to-heart hug is that you touch each other. So bring your arms around and hug yourself if you can't hug other people. And then extend out and hug other people. And so there's a burst of laughter. Laughter always happens when you hug yourself or other people for whatever reason, okay? And the thing is, the heart, the sound of the heart is laughter. You know, every organ has a sound. So the laughter that opens the heart and the circulation spiritually, mind, and body. It's all at one time. There's no separation. The spirit is here, mind is there, and body is here, which Western medicines tend to want to separate. And then with the touch, it improves your immune system. It's been proven in therapeutic touch research, gold standard research, that when you touch one another, that your immune system is elevated. Your white blood cells increase, your red blood cells increase, and you are healthier. So the thing is with CJ, I agree with CJ and many of you that research is very important right now, and gold standard research, random and etc. But however, we cannot sit on our hands and wait until research can tell us what to do or what not to do. And that's what we're tending to do right now. And that's a danger point, that we revere research to really to a stupidity level. And I'm not saying it's stupid, I think it's absolutely necessary. But we need to mix the science and the art of health and healing and of life. And we tend to separate when we think about science. So therefore, go ahead and do whatever you're doing and getting good results, etc. But document it down. Please document what you're getting down. And the thing is, if you're getting results in one session, then say you got result in one session. Don't say you got results, because in Western medicine, they'll think that you took a year or something before you got that result. So if every one of us documenting this and presenting it, that in one session, I can get somebody who's been in a wheelchair for 10 years and has that pain every time she tries to move. In one session, I could get her moving. And then in 3 months, with only 2 more sessions, she went back and taught in her school. She was a grade 1 teacher. And everybody said, Jane, what happened? Where's your wheelchair? Because they had seen her in a wheelchair for over 10 years. And she said, oh, it's at home. So nonchalantly.
I agree with you, Effie, and I know that this is powerful stuff. It's very powerful stuff, and documentation is absolutely necessary. And we can't just sit on our hands and wait for the years of research to catch up to us. But we do need those years of research in order to get the insurance companies, politicians, and doctors to start recommending it. And so that's where I'm focused on. But I must leave, unfortunately. I love you all. Sharon, that trailer is absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to the 22nd Congress to see more of it. It's just absolutely phenomenal. You are all phenomenal. Thank you so much. So,
thank you, CJ. It's such a pleasure to meet you.
I will just carry on just for another moment, because I think the part about research is very important. But again, as I said, we cannot sit on our hands until we get research. And when we get research, we have to get money. And this is why also we are focusing on raising money to set up a health and wellness system, solid as the Western medical system, and that we can develop our own insurance system if we need to. But we can start getting the insurance system now, who is beginning to realize they're missing out on some money. And unfortunately, it's money focused. And that, hey, if we focus and we're teaching them that if you focus on health and you're getting another body of money in, but please don't take advantage of the client. Okay, that's the problem with insurance. And so therefore, I have a lot more to say, as you all know. Oh, by the way, about research, I was a consultant with NIH, the National Institutes of Health, Department of Health and Human Services, research consultant for over 37 years. So I know what research is, and I know the slowness with which research does. And we need to spur it up, put some fire underneath it. And so we need to have friends at the NIH, Department of Health and Human Services, and the politicians, That's why at every Congress, we have a whole smattering of politicians that is supportive of integrative medicine, integrative health, pardon me. And we need to have doctors. So there are very wonderful doctors. If you look for them, and I'm sure you all know some, and that we got to get them together so they feel supported, and they feel very supported. Now, I've had 3 near-death experiences in 2015. How many of you know what near-death experiences mean? That you died and came back. And they said, we're not ready for you. You have to cure the ills of the world before we can accept you back. And I thought, oh my God.
Thank you. My goodness, Effie.
And so I just suddenly realized more that you have to cooperate and partner with everybody, and no exception. Even the medical people, we must partner with them so that they'll see us as friends and not as threats. So thank you. And I wish
Thank you, Effie.
8 hugs a day.
For your comments.
Oh, by the way, you hug
Thank
this
you.
way, face to face, left face to face, because your heart is connected. If you hug this way, your heart skips each other. So all these little things are really important and fun to know. And so I wish you all 8 Effie Chow, heart to heart, and 3 belly aching laughs like Santa Claus, ho, 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 so that your belly shakes. All right, and keep up the great work, Neil. You are absolutely marvelous setting up, and I certainly look forward to being a very close partner with you and your gang and all the wonderful people I've heard in many of years, many weeks. All right. So thank you, Amalia. Thank you, Sharon Rose. Thank you.
Thank
all.
you, Effie. Thank you, Dame Reverend Dr. Effie. And, you know, for bringing the spiritual mandate down to ground, to the bricks and mortar, the really hard work into this dense third dimension, right? We know about that, Dr. Rajiv and Keith, how you are all cutting through the bureaucracy and all the resistance. But it's part of the yin yang here. It's the game, it's the Tai Chi. We have to do that. So, Dr. Rajiv, do you have anything to say, or Keith, about the vagaries of doing this work, like grounded, just like what Dr. Tess Lowry is doing with the Better Way? I hope you join us there too. So
I would perhaps first congratulate Effie for really doing that work for long and really putting back the point that we need to work collaboratively. We need to respect each other. We need to trust each other, because without that, everything will fall. And I think these are words of wisdom. I really appreciate that. And I think the day has gone so well and time has gone. I mean, we started what, 8 hours ago, probably more than 8 hours ago, and we are still going, and that indicates that this is such an important topic. It's such a energy providing. So it is not sucking the energy, it's giving the energy for us to really go on and on and on. So I think that is something to be appreciated. And again, thanks to Pranil Kumar for helping us bringing together. It is such a good energy. People are here because everybody is passionate. The next step for us is to bring that passion together and work together. And again, thanks to Keith, we are working on that, and we'll take it further, because the whole idea is that if we work collaboratively, we are a bigger team, we work much better. So I think I would say, and Wai-Ching, really appreciate your energy, your calmness, your soothing through, and it's amazing. Thank you so much.
thank you. Thank you for all the work that we're doing here on this third integrated health forum. Can you not feel the energy like building up? It's so exciting. And so, I mean, we have Keith highlighted, and Sarah and Lata. Would you like to come into the conversation? Anyone of you?
If I may, just very quickly, is that Rajiv and I are already working on collaboration, and we have mentioned that, and I have never seen or been in communication with Dr. Effie Chow, and it's a delight to meet you, madam. I'm going to add 2 words, because I may have a chance to speak next week and my wife will be saying, you're always talking. Well, three things. One is the word prevention. And we know that no money is spent on real primary care prevention. And therefore, we need to look at how we might achieve that. And I'm not sure what the American statement is, but here it's called return on investment. If we can get somebody to pay $2 million or £2 million, we can save organizations about 5 million. These are government figures that were produced back in 2015 and 2016. When I talk to our GPs here, they say prevention is when somebody has been released or discharged from hospital. All right. The third and final thing I will say is that at my senior age, I find it incredible that from a 15-year-old schoolboy leaving school without any qualifications, is that I'm here talking to such a wonderful range of people. And I spoke to a gentleman the other day who was one of the founders of the National Qigong Association. And he said to me, when I said, why am I doing this? And he said, Keith, you have been assigned. I have been assigned to work with all of you. And I am so proud of what we're achieving. And I will keep going for as long as I can. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much, Keith. Really, your work is also phenomenal. And speaking of phenomenal, Sarah, would you like to mention anything? Lata, please, it'd be lovely to hear from you, Lata.
I won't take much time. I've already expressed what a wonderful group this is, and I'm very grateful to be part of this group. And I think it's lovely that we so openly share and support each other. You know, there's no one's competing, no one's saying what I do is better than what you do, and you know, it's such a nice space, and like you said, such a good energy. And you know, they always say together we achieve more. You know, there's no I in team. So I think this is a great team, and I think we're going to really make a huge difference going forward to humanity. That's my prayer.
Beautiful. I hope you can join us at the 22nd Congress, World Congress.
I will do my very best. Yes.
Yes.
God willing, I'll be there.
Inshallah.
And
Lata, my dear.
Good evening, everyone, or good afternoon, should I say, for the Americans. But it's really been a vibrant episode and discussion. Yeah, I think it's really, the fruit is ready and ripened to pluck and enjoy now the fruitage. You've all been doing so much work over the past years, Effie, Wai-Ching, and Sharon, and whoever else, Dr. Rajiv Gupta, and all of you wonderful guys. You know, you've done great missions and great missionary work in the medical field, trying to bring this awareness, whereas we knew as patients we wanted alternative medicines and not succumb to the artificial and the chemicals that they wanted us to pump us down with, because obviously they weren't going to heal us, but they were going to suffocate us or even slow us down further and, you know, deaden us. But as life, you know, we'd be like dead corpses walking around in a body. But, you know, fortunately, those courageous ones now have been connected on this platform. I think it's very evident. And I'm really, you know, proud of how it's forming. And we should all congratulate ourselves, and, you know, especially Neil, as always, for getting us all together. So yeah, it's amazing. We've got a lot of exciting days ahead, I think, from what you all are achieving. It's wonderful. Yeah, it's our little project, isn't it?
It is, and it's such a worthy project. And so perhaps it's time to end. And if I might invite anyone who would have some comments or sharing with us before we, close this sacred circle. This is the way we work with meditation, with a meditation and with an intentionalization into grounding this global forum on integrated health. And do join us again next week for the 4th episode. This is the 3rd one. And we just want to thank all the souls who have converged with us today and put in this soul energy to make it happen on the planet. And working with Dr. Tess Lowry and the World Council for Health, The Better Way, the Angelic Summit, and the 22nd Congress of Qigong, Tai Chi, TCM, and Natural Healing. And so all these, just imagine, okay, as we go into our inner selves and as we perhaps close our eyes and intentionalize these weavings of the light coming together and creating this new reality on the planet. And we give thanks for everybody and for the tech crew, Nishit and Neil, with the vision of producing this, healing our earth and linking with all the organizations in the world. So let us take a deep breath and send our light out to the world. Send our light out to all. And the doctors who were on the Healing Our Earth forum earlier today, amazing sharings from medical doctors. And we are raising the frequency of love.